what's up? It's Abby and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk about a question that's rather prevalent in the long distance relationship dimension, and that is, are long distance relationships worth it? I mean, in my case, right now it's a big old freaking yes. But I completely understand where people come from. I mean, from my comments, from the DMs, from just the general internet, it seems that a lot of people worry about kind of the long term or the assessing the future of when's it going to end, because being long distance can just generally be exhausting because it's being apart from someone you really care about. It's difficult in the way that, you can't physically be together, you can't go on dates, you can't kind of experience life together, live through, sorry about that, but you can't live through mutual moments, and it's kind of like holding your heart for that right moment when you're together. And you have a lot of independent moments, but you haven't really had a lot of shared memories. And you can share your independent moments with your loved one. It can be rather difficult on the heart. I can't really answer this question for every person who watches this video, but I'm going to break down this question into 4 different parts that I think are important when evaluating this question for yourself. Is it worth it? And we'll go from there. The first variable of, is it worth it question is communication. Are you being open? Are you having regular communication? And are you being truthful? I think being open is very important. If you're hiding things from one another and you're in a long distance relationship, it's not great. I mean, I think that goes for every relationship, but keeping it open can almost make it easier. You're telling them about your day, and I mean, maybe I'm a little too open, aka TMI, with my fiance, but it is what it is. But I could tell him about what's going on, whether or not I'm really upset about the fact that this job interview didn't go well, or whether it's about the relationships going at home. I'm just kind of talking about what's on my mind, or if I'm struggling with the fact that we're so far apart and I could really use a hug because I'm upset. It's keeping in contact and just being on a deeper level and being just entirely who you are and being honest. Then that next factor is just kind of keeping up communications. I think if you're in a long distance relationship and you hear from the person once a week, that can be rather difficult. I think there's exceptions to the rules. I think military couples who maybe have the partner doing service and obviously they don't have any way of communication, there's things like letters and love boxes, and you're thinking about the person. Constantly communicating is just almost not expected if you're in that situation, just due to the terms of the military aspect. But if you're in kind of the situation where one person's in one city and another person's in another city, I think if you're texting only once a week, or I think I call maybe once a week or twice a week. It may be more than that, but that's just because we're at this point in the relationship where we visit each other and we kind of have this deep love for each other, but we don't feel the need to constantly call all the time like we used to when we were younger. We'll just kind of text what's on our mind, or call when we want to say, hey, how's it going? I love you, kind of thing. But if you're like getting only a couple text messages and they're short, I think that kind of flag a problem, just because you maybe haven't met yet, or if you have and you're just, the effort and the kind of the exhaustion is being shown through maybe the lack of constant communications. It can be a sign that maybe either you or your partner is having a difficult time continuing constant contact, whether it's something going on their side or your side. It can be something to think about. Last part is being honest. And I think that's important, just because if you're lying about what you're doing, or if your partner's lying about what they're doing, that's kind of like a big red flag for any relationship. I just feel like in long distance relationships, there's always, I feel like, a little more opportunity to lie about what you're doing. So if my partner was telling me he was going to the library and he actually went to a party and I heard about it through his friend, that's like a big wow. That's not a good situation. And I think in general, somebody's lying to you when you're in 2 cities apart. When you're together, they would lie to you just the same, and it's maybe not worth it. The next thing I view as a variable of answering this question is the move. Are you moving, or am I moving? What's going on? What's the plan? There needs to be some sort of big goal at the end of this relationship, because long distance relationships aren't forever. Okay, I hope not, because I have needs. Okay, and when it comes to just that factor of who's gonna move, how you're gonna do it, and having that plan of ending is very important. If I got to a point where one of the things I kind of struggle with being in an international long distance relationship is when I visit Denmark, I go through a lot of culture shock. At least in the last couple times I have. I'm not too sure I will. If I go back again, I might. It's a phenomenon that maybe I should make a whole video about, but there's little things that I would get frustrated at just because I'd be homesick and I would miss certain aspects of home, or there's cultural things that, the Danes just do differently because, they're Danes. They're not little old me. They're not like my little bubble. And that's completely fair. Everyone's different. It's just, it can be difficult adjusting to another culture, and that's just a part of culture shock. But in my experience, if I want to move, there's a language barrier that I need to learn. And there's also the factor that it's going to be difficult leaving my family behind. I don't like saying this, but it's like leaving my life behind to make another one. And it's a question that, who's going to do it? Is it reasonable? Is it something that you can financially afford? And if I got to a point that with the culture shock that I decided I love you all over, but I can't really move. I think he has told me, we've had these conversations before. He told me he would move here. But what if he can't do that? It just, at that point, it may not work out. And I don't like saying that because in some sense, I don't want things to end. But that may be a big part if someone can't move, or if it isn't reasonable to move anymore. Even if there is a lot of love, there's other factors other than love and communication. The third aspect of, is it worth it in a long distance relationship, I decided to title independence. I think maybe one of the perks of being long distance is there's a lot of time for self-improvement. I've personally taken advantage of it since, I guess 2021, yeah. I made all those New Year's resolutions and I've really been focusing on it. Yeah, I've been kind of in a depressive, anxious state for the last 6 months, but I'm working on getting independent. I'm working on becoming self-sufficient. I'm working on getting healthy and all that stuff, but there's that kind of me time and the aspects of establishing my own education, my own degree, having Oliver doing his things in his life and having me doing my life. And yeah, maybe it'd be better if we were doing it together. If you're able to be self-sufficient, it should be a lot easier to come together and succeed together. I generally think that it's very unhealthy to be entirely dependent on your partner for emotional support as well as financial support. And I think that that independence factor of, is it worth it? Because, do you need time to have that self-improvement period or establish yourself? I think that might be worth it to you. If you are going to your education in college A and he or she or they are in college B, then having you focus on you and them focus on them can be something that is very worth it to having long distance. But it could also be a factor where if you maybe have that dependence factor, maybe long distance isn't quite worth it for you, just because you really need someone there for you in your life and being with you kind of on a constant basis. And that's just because you have needs and the distance is not something that can meet that. And that's completely fair and valid, especially if you have a different opinion than I do. I just am very much in the appreciation of the fact that I have someone who loves me very deeply and I love him more than any words I can say. And in any case, having this period, even though it absolutely is awful that we're apart and I can't hug him when I'm upset, or I can't lean on him or go do stupid couple things, or I don't know, what would I like to do right now? I think I'd just like a hug. Sometimes getting in bed and giving like a big old hug, bear hug. There's just also this aspect that I can appreciate how I can kind of become my own being, and my dependence on him is not as significant as I think it is. So maybe that one didn't flow as well, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. In some sense, is it worth it? You know, do you need some sort of independence, me time, self-development period, or are you very dependent on someone in your life, being constant and being there? Different people have different views on that, and that's kind of what I meant. The last little component of is a long distance relationship worth it is kind of what I call relationship health and chemistry. I will put this, that when Oliver and I talk on the phone or if we're in person, we have a hell of a lot of chemistry. I think he's probably one of the only creatures on this planet that can talk me up and make me laugh, and just kind of keep things flowing, and keep things going, and just kind of that natural talk, you know, even though I don't call him that much anymore, we don't text that much anymore. When I pick up that phone or he picks up that phone, we call and be like, we're talking over something stupid. What were we? I think we were talking about manscaping today for some reason. But we just, you know, have these full conversations and this natural aspect of this natural communication. And if you don't have chemistry, I know maybe if you hadn't met or if you have met and you don't really have that chemistry, that can be really difficult to maintain a long distance relationship or really any relationship. But I think, you know, having that, you know, giggly phone calls or just kind of having, I think Oliver and I are still in the honeymoon phase, even though it's been almost 7 years. And we have a healthy relationship and we don't have any really abusive behavior. I mean, we don't have any abusive behavior. We don't have anything toxic going on. I'm not abusive to him. He's not abusive to me. He's not cheating on me. I'm not cheating on him. I'm not, you know, calling him names. He's not calling me names. I mean, we can't do anything physical. But in any case, there's nothing going on that would be a red flag that the relationship should end anyway. And we have a healthy relationship and we have great chemistry, so that's a factor that really makes it worth it to keep talking to Oliver, because I love my life. We got such great chemistry. We have such great phone calls. I would love to continue my long distance relationship. You know? And so if I went through my own checklist, we have great communication. We're open. We talk about pretty much anything and everything, including what we do in the bathroom. I'm sorry, I am one of those couples where I don't care. I will just tell him I'm having the runs, okay? You know, and we're not hiding or lying about what we're doing, what we're up to. Oh, Abby, I'm out with my BFF man and we're out on this road trip. That's what he told me today. So yeah. Things are going great. Yeah, that makes a long distance relationship worth it to me. The move. The current plan is for me to move there, but maybe that's kind of one of the factors that maybe is a little bit teetering. But I do understand that there's that big goal at the end of the relationship that one of us is going to move. So right now, it's still worth it to me because there is going to be some end to this long distance relationship. And I'm very happy to, you know, kind of end it either him here or I there. Who knows? And the third is the independence factor. I am not extremely dependent on Oliver for like kind of needing to be here physically. And I do appreciate a lot of the kind of self-improvement period just from being a little bit on my own. And I think it still makes a long distance relationship worth it to me just because I have that kind of self-sufficiency I need in my young adult life, as well as just having this loving partner in my life as well. So yeah, that's a check for me. So, and then, you know, the last part, chemistry. Oliver and I in relationship health, great chemistry, healthy relationship. Things are going fantastic. So yes, a long distance relationship is worth it to me. I wouldn't imagine spending my life with anyone else. And that's such a big factor and big important thing to think about. In any case, I hope this video helped you assess whether or not your long distance relationship is worth it, or just in general long distance relationships are worth it. My personal opinion about my relationship is yes, that it is worth it. There's so many things that go on and I'm very happy to be with the man that I'm with. And it's worth it to me, especially when I see him, because whoo. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. And if you made it all the way into this video, why don't you leave me like a pink heart, you know, for my little gnomes, you know? We'll do a little pink heart for love, right? Leave me a pink heart in the comments below and subscribe if you aren't subscribed. One of my New Year's resolutions was to create an upload schedule, and my plan right now is to upload every Friday or at least every other Friday. So expect an upload for next Friday, and I will see you guys then. So bye.